Hello and good afternoon. And today I will continue to read from the Revelation of Jesus Christ, chapter 14 and possibly chapter 15. We will see how this particular audio go. But right now I'm going to start at chapter 14, verse 1. And right above chapter 14, the heading which says, The Lamb on Mount Zion. And I am reading out of the King James Version of the Bible, of the Holy Bible. So here we go. Chapter 14, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 saints, having his Father's name written on their foreheads. Verse 2. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. Verse 3. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. Verse 5. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. In verse 6, and just above verse 6, there's another subheading which says the angelic messages. In verse 6, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Verse 7, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. Verse 8, and there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she had made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receiveth his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Verse 10, that same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Verse 12, here is the patience of his saints. Here is the patience of these saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith in Jesus. Again, verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Verse 13, and I heard a voice from heaven, saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. Verse 14, and I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Verse 15, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Verse 16, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Verse 17, and another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. Verse 18, and another angel came out from the altar, which hath power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. Verse 19, and the angel thrust in the sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. Verse 20, And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Chapter 15. And this chapter 15 has 8 verses. And the subheading above chapter 15 says the 7 plagues. Chapter 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in the heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. Verse 2. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. Verse 3. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Verse 4. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for the judgments are made manifest. Verse 5. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. Verse 6. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with the golden girdles. Verse 7. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth for ever and ever. Verse 8. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. And that is chapter 14 and 15 of the Revelation of Jesus Christ. And I will come back maybe possibly tomorrow or another time to continue on until we reach the last chapter, which the last chapter would be chapter 22. So we have a few more chapters to go. But I thank you so much for sitting and taking the time and listening to this portion of the continuation of this book. And I just want to say to you all, have a great and wonderful day, and have a blessed day as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.